Hi everybody, my name is David and this is the Cartoon Fortress YouTube channel, and today you all get to put me in the corner with the dunce cap of shame on and stick a big old sticker on my forehead with the word liar on it. Because today, this very video that you're watching is yet another Criterion haul video from this July 2021 Criterion sale. Yes, I went back, I acquired more titles, and we're here with another video. I know I've said multiple times that I was finished, and that was definitely the plan, but it sucked me back in. So I've got several more titles here for you, and at the end I will be showing a box set that I actually reacquired, and all the credit has to go to my wife, my amazing wife, for allocating the funds to bring this specific box set back into the collection. So that one is credit to her. And these first couple titles I've actually already opened, and then the rest are still sealed. I got these first two another day, and then the rest I acquired today. So I was gonna just go here chronologically, kind of how I picked them up. So we'll go ahead and jump right into this. This is not going to be an unboxing video. Again, this is just going to be a showcase of the titles I picked up, and we will go over the specs, the extra features, that type of thing, so you know what to expect with these specific releases. But first up here we have one of the new releases here, spine number 1071. This is an Albert Brooks comedy starring Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep, and this is Defending Your Life. You can see here some very white cover art, but I think it's actually kind of fun in its minimalistic approach here. This is from 1991, and I have to say I'm starting to build up my Albert Brooks collection, not just within Criterion, but elsewhere. In fact, fairly recently I picked up, is it Modern Romance from Indicator. I got the limited edition title from Indicator, and then I also have Lost in America via the Criterion collection, and now Defending Your Life. So Albert Brooks is definitely a filmmaker that I'm interested in, and obviously interested in building up a collection of his titles. I've heard really wonderful things about this movie. Again, this is from 1991, runtime of 111 minutes, and this features a new 4K digital restoration, and it's actually approved by Albert Brooks. And no, I didn't keep the sticker on this one. We have a new conversation between Brooks and filmmaker Robert Wade. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, Wade or Wade. New interview with theologian and critic Donna Brown about Brooks' vision of the afterlife. New program featuring excerpts from interviews conducted in 1991 with Brooks and actor Lee Grant and Rip Torn. And then you get a trailer and English subtitles, and then you get an essay by filmmaker Ari Aster. Which admittedly I'm not a big fan of Ari Aster's work, so kind of funny. I mean, maybe I'll see when I read the essay what he has to say about this particular film. But yeah, in terms of his work as a director, not a big fan. But that's really neither here nor there. I will show you the inside of this one just because I've already opened it up. You get the disc, obviously, and then the little booklet here, the visitor's guide to Judgment City. So that's kind of a fun little touch. All right, moving right along. So the only other title that I have here that I already opened up, and this is actually a title that I'm reacquiring. I was in recent conversation with my good friend Nathan, and we were talking about it's Nathan Jones, his YouTube channel. If you're not already following Nathan Jones, if you're on this channel, chances are you probably know Nathan Jones as well. But we were in conversation recently about Tarkovsky, and I acquired Mirror during the sale, and I've kind of had the itch to go through his work, and on some of his films that I've maybe not connected with. He is a filmmaker that I have a hard time connecting with, but I'm really wanting to put in the time to kind of better understand his work. Anyways, this is a title that I had quite some time ago, and I feel ready to, you know, kind of explore his work. So this is Andrei Tarkovsky's Solaris. This is spine number 164, so this is very early in the collection, from 1972 with a runtime of 166 minutes. And this is, of course, in Russian with English subtitles. And this features a high-definition digital restoration with uncompressed mono soundtrack, audio commentary by Andrei Tarkovsky, scholars Vida Johnson and Graham Petrie, 9 deleted and alternate scenes, video interviews with actress, and you're going to have to really bear with me here on these names, Natalia Bondarchuk, cinematographer Vadim Yusov, art director Mikhail Romandin, and composer Edward Artemev. And then we have an excerpt from a documentary about Stanislaw Lem, the author of the film's source novel. And then we also get a booklet featuring an essay by critic Philip Lopate and appreciation by director Akira Kurosawa, which is really interesting. And then again, just because this one's already opened, I'll show you here's the disc and then the included booklet. So again, really, really happy to have this one back in the collection, and just really ready to kind of give Tarkovsky the attention that he deserves, and you know, time to kind of sit with his films and really exhaust all of the supplements and the essays, all that stuff. So excited to have that. All right, so new titles that I picked up today. No particular order here. We'll just go ahead and start. I'm really wanting to fill in the gaps on my Alfred Hitchcock collection, and so we're doing exactly that here with spine number 643. This is The Man Who Knew Too Much. And my light just went off here. Sorry about that. I didn't realize that light had a timer. All right, here we have a film from 1934. This is a runtime of 75 minutes and is in black and white. This features a new digital restoration with uncompressed mono soundtrack, new audio commentary featuring film historian Philip Kemp, new interview with filmmaker Guillermo del Toro, which is really fascinating. The Illustrated Hitchcock, an extensive interview with director Alfred Hitchcock from 1972, conducted by journalist, and I'm sorry, there's a sticker thing here in the way, Pia Lindstrom, and film historian William K. Everson. Audio excerpts from filmmaker Francois Truffaut's legendary 1962 interviews with Hitchcock. And then there's a restoration demonstration, and then the booklet inside featuring an essay by critic Farron Smith Neame. So there is The Man Who Knew Too Much, and again, this is spine number 643. There is the back on that one. All right, next up we have, this is a film that I've seen once, and it actually might have been on Filmstruck, not even the Criterion channel, back when Filmstruck was a thing, and saw this film, really enjoyed it, and it was one that I was never aware of, and which kind of surprises me. But this is a film directed by Alexander Payne, starring Matthew Broderick and Reese Witherspoon. This is Election. And this is spine number 904. I didn't realize it was that late in the collection. I thought this was an earlier spine number. But yeah, this is Election. Really great performances, and it's kind of one of those films where when things go bad, they go really, really bad. And things really just spiral out of control. This has to do with high school elections and, kind of politics within the campaign. And Matthew Broderick plays a teacher, and he gets himself involved and in kind of swaying the votes and that type of thing. And everything just really spirals out of control. But yeah, great performances. And from what I remember as well, yeah, this is actually an MTV movie. So great cast, really fun, engaging type movie. And it actually features a new restored 4K digital transfer, supervised and approved by director Alexander Payne. We get an audio commentary from 1999 featuring Payne, new interview with actor Reese Witherspoon, the passion of Martin Payne's 1990 UCLA thesis film. So The Passion of Martin, Payne's 1990 UCLA thesis film, with a new introduction by the director. And then we have True Inside, Election, a 2016 documentary featuring on-set footage and interviews with cast and crew, Omaha local news report on the film's production, trailer, and then an essay by critic Dana Stevens. So really great release here from Criterion for Election. And I'm sorry, I don't know if I said this is 1999 with a runtime of 103 minutes. And then spine number 904. All right, so next up, I am going to intentionally do these two here in a row because these are two documentaries by the Maisel brothers. And I know I really exhaust this on the channel by saying that I'm really into documentaries, and so that's something that I'm constantly looking to add to the collection, or just different documentary titles. And the Maisel brothers I do have in the collection via their documentary Salesman, which is really fascinating. Now this title I have seen, and in fact both of these Maisel brothers titles I have seen, and this is spine number 123. I've had this on my list for ages, and very happy to finally have it. And this is Grey Gardens. So this is from 1976 and is 94 minutes long. But what I want to note here is this is actually a double feature, because we also get a digital transfer of The Beals of Grey Gardens, approved by Maisels, and with uncompressed mono soundtrack. And then this film here gets a new 2K digital film restoration approved by director Albert Maisel, I think is how you pronounce it, with uncompressed mono soundtrack. You get audio commentary for Grey Gardens featuring Maisel co-directors Ellen Hovde, and Muffy Meyer, and associate producer Susan Fromke. Introduction to The Beals of Grey Gardens by Maisels. Audio excerpts from a 1976 interview with Little Edie Bill. Interviews and fashion designers Todd Oldham and John Bartlett on the continuing influence of Grey Gardens. Behind the scenes photographs, trailers, and then an essay by critic Hilton Alls. Let me know in the comments. I don't know if you pronounce it Maisels or is it Maisel. But anyways, really excited to have this one. Like I said, I have seen it before. Really interesting documentary. Very interesting subject here. And if you're into documentaries at all, and kind of really intriguing, interesting, kind of eccentric people who really are clinging to a kind of a bygone era, just kind of an interesting human study, then this is going to be right up your alley. So Grey Gardens, spine number 123. And the other documentary here is at spine number 99, so even earlier than The Grey Gardens. This is Gimme Shelter. And this is called The Greatest Rock Film Ever Made. This landmark documentary follows the Rolling Stones on their notorious 1969 U.S. tour when 300,000 members of the Love Generation collided with a few dozen Hells Angels at San Francisco's Altamont Speedway. Direct cinema pioneers David and Albert Maysles and Charlotte Zwerin were there to immortalize on film the bloody slash that transformed a decade's dreams into disillusionment. Really, really interesting documentary here. This is from 1970 with a runtime of 91 minutes. And this features a new high-definition digital transfer of the uncensored 30th anniversary version with exclusive DTS HD master audio, surround, and stereo mixes, audio commentary featuring directors Albert Maysles and Charlotte Zwerin, and collaborator Stanley Goldstein. And then also, which is really cool, you get some additional performances by the Rolling Stones at Madison Square Garden in 1969, including "Oh Carol" and "Prodigal Son," plus backstage outtakes and footage of the band mixing Little Queenie, audio excerpts from KSAN Radio's Altamont Wrap-Up, recorded December 7th, 1969, with introductions by then DJ Stefan Ponik, Altamont Stills Gallery featuring the work of renowned photographers Bill Owens and Beth Sunflower, original and re-released theatrical trailers, and then you get a booklet featuring essays by film critic Amy Tobin, music writer Stanley Booth, Mick Jagger's former assistant Georgia Berman, music writer Michael Liddon, and film critic Godfrey Cheshire. So, as you can see here, really loaded release, and there is a rather sizable booklet in here, stapled booklet in here, so really stellar release, and again, that's spine number 99. Alright, so we have two more titles, and then the box set that I had mentioned. Now, this title, I actually own a separate version or edition of this film in my collection, and this is Samuel Fuller's Pickup on South Street. Now, Eureka released a set called Fuller, sorry, I'm looking at my collection here, yeah, Fuller at Fox, and that features actually two Criterion titles in that set. There's 40 Guns and the Barbara Stanwyck film, and then there is Pickup on South Street. I acquired this specific edition. I'm really, really happy to have that box set from Eureka. It's really fantastic, and unfortunately at this point out of print. But I wanted this edition for a couple of reasons. Number one is that this actually features a new 4K digital restoration, and also there are supplements included here that are not included on the Eureka set. The Eureka edition has 2 or 3 extra features, whereas you get, and those extra features I believe are all included here, but then this expands on the supplements with items that I really wanted to have. So this is spine number 224, so this is an upgrade from a previous DVD release, and is from 1953 with a runtime of 80 minutes in black and white, and as I mentioned, features a new 4K digital restoration with uncompressed mono soundtrack, new interview with critic Imogen Sarah Smith, author of In Lonely Places, Film Noir Beyond the City, interview from 1989 with director Samuel Fuller, conducted by film critic Richard Schickel, Cinema Fuller, a 1982 French television program in which the director discusses the making of the film, Hollywood radio theater adaptation, which really caught my eye, and that's one of the differences, one of the few differences in supplements on this disc and compared to the Eureka disc. Hollywood radio theater adaptation of the film from 1954 starring Thelma Ritter, trailers for Fuller's films, English subtitles, and then you get an essay book with multiple essays. This one has another sizable stapled booklet included in it. So really, there were just things that I couldn't say no to on this release, and to have 2 copies of, a great 1950s film noir title, I'm in. Now, I should mention, actually, I have not seen this film yet, so I'm really excited to do that. I'm a big Richard Widmark fan, and, so this is an easy blind buy for me. And, in fact, I'll be watching this one probably really, really soon. So pick up on South Street. And the last one, this is another documentary, big surprise. And this is a film by Peter Davis. This is another one that's been on my list for quite some time. And as big of a fan of documentaries as I am, I'm surprised it's taken me this long to get to it. But this is a very early spy number 156. And this is Hearts and Minds. Now, this is a dual format edition, so it's in a little bit thicker of a case. If you're not aware, Criterion has really stopped doing the dual format releases, so this is, just as long as they have stock, I guess, of these old titles, they'll sell them while they're available. But I don't know if they're going to be doing another release of Hearts and Minds where they just slim it down to just a standard Blu-ray release. I would hope that that's the case. But yeah, so this is a film from 1974. 112 minutes in color, and this focuses on the Vietnam War, and I'll just read the little blurb here. It's a startling and courageous film. Peter Davis's landmark 1974 documentary Hearts and Minds unflinchingly confronted the United States' involvement in Vietnam at the height of controversy that surrounded it. Using a wealth of sources, from interviews to newsreels to footage of the conflict and the upheaval it occasioned on the home front, Davis constructs a powerfully affecting picture of the disastrous effects of war, explosive, persuasive, and wrenching. Hearts and Minds is an overwhelming emotional experience and the most important nonfiction film ever made about this devastating period in history. So really interesting, just kind of sounds like a powder keg type documentary that we have here. Excuse me. So we get a high definition digital restoration supervised by director Peter Davis and cinematographer Richard Pierce with uncompressed mono soundtrack on the Blu-ray. So that doesn't carry over to the DVD. We also get an audio commentary featuring Davis. And then we also get a collection of over 2 hours of Davis's unused footage, including excerpts from interviews with presidential advisor George Ball, broadcast journalist David Brinkley, French journalist and historian Philippe Devilliers, and political activist Tony Russo. Additional excerpts from General William Westmoreland's interview, additional audio excerpts from presidential advisor Walt Rostow's interview, and scenes from a funeral and a military hospital in South Vietnam. Also on the Blu-ray, one Blu-ray and 2 DVDs, so we actually get a 3-disc set here with all content available in both formats. And then we get a booklet featuring essays by Davis, film critic Judith Christ, and historians Robert K. Brigham, George C. Herring, and No Veen Long. And again, sorry if I butchered any of those names. So really packed release here. 3-disc set. So this is housed, it sounds like, exactly like the recent release of The Human Condition, where it's the 3-disc set in kind of a standard, slightly thicker looking case here, and then a really sizable stapled booklet in here. And in terms of documentaries about kind of war and these obviously bigger events in history, Criterion is no stranger to these types of releases, these hard-hitting war documentary films. I'm thinking specifically about Shoah, which I have on my shelf as well, which I have not seen yet. I'm I'm still trying to get in kind of the right mindset to watch that. That's really exhaustive. That's, I believe, 9, 10, 11 hours of content there. But these are really important documentaries, really important subjects to to talk about and to understand, and I'm all about that. That's one thing that I love about film, is that I get to learn about things that maybe I don't feel like I know enough about or appreciate quite enough. So very pleased to have Hearts and Minds in the collection. All right, now the last item that we have to go over here, this is again a reacquired title, and I've had this conversation on my channel recently with you guys that sometimes you're just not ready to explore a filmmaker, and that's totally fine. I have really felt the pull to reacquire this set, and don't have definite plans of how I'm going to tackle this box set, but I'm just happy to have access to it once again. And however I go about watching these films, I'm just really excited. And this is the very famous Ingmar Bergmans Cinema. If you're living under a rock for the past couple of years, or you don't follow Criterion content at all, maybe you haven't seen this particular box set, but this is a very, very popular box set within the Criterion community, and for good reason. This is a very exhaustive collection of films by Ingmar Bergman in a very beautiful box set here. I'm not going to go over everything here, but if you want to pause, there's a list of the films included. And then you get a very large, obviously everything here is large format, but the discs are housed in one portion, and then you get a very nice hardbound book in the other. So just really, really happy to have this in the collection. And again, thank you so much to my wife. She did allocate the funds for me to bring this one back into the collection. So very excited to have that. I don't feel like I need to go into massive depth on this, because it has been covered to no end on within the Criterion community. But I was very pleased actually to find this in store without the spider security wrap, which is always a big deal when you can find box sets like that. In fact, there were multiple large box sets at the Barnes & Noble, one of my local Barnes & Nobles, and that didn't have the spider wrap on them. So I feel fortunate to find a really solid looking copy here of Ingmar Bergman's Cinema. So just to review here really quick, we have Hearts and Minds, Pick Up on South Street, Give Me Shelter, Grey Gardens, Election, The Man Who Knew Too Much. And I want to point out as well that this is of course, the film from 1934. This is one that Hitchcock ended up remaking with Jimmy Stewart and Doris Day. That is not a Criterion edition, just FYI. And then we have Tarkovsky's Solaris, and finally Albert Brooks' Defending Your Life. All right, so great stack of titles here. I think I've learned my lesson at this point that I'm not going to say this is my final haul of the sale. I certainly hope it is, because I've brought in I'm going to have to get a new light here, because I did not realize that we had a timer on this thing. Anyways, yeah, I certainly hope that I'm done for this particular sale, because I brought in plenty of titles. If you haven't seen the other two haul videos, you can go back on the channel and watch those. If you are interested in this type of content, Criterion collection for sure, but just film collecting, unboxing videos, that type of thing, I invite you to hit the subscribe button, the like button, and finally the bell icon. That will notify you when I upload new videos in the future. And also, let me know down in the comments, what have you picked up during the sale? If anything, are there titles that you're excited about? Criterion's got an amazing slate coming up here in the the coming months, that they had some amazing announcements for October that I'm very, very excited about. And I'm really excited to see what they announce for November. And then that'll lead us into the November sale, and then you can really kind of finalize, wish lists for that sale. So let me know down in the comments, kind of what you're doing Criterion wise. And until next time, my name is David, and I hope you have an awesome day.